What's up, guys? Tenders here, and we're going to play some Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn. I love this game, so let us get started. We're going to be starting a game over some clear data that I already have, playing on hard mode because why not? And this run in particular, I'm going to throw some rules on it. It is going to be an Iron Man run. And, except for certain instances, I'm going to ban the use of laguz royals. So, specifically in endgame, we will not be using the royals. Alright, so we start off with Micaiah, who is basically a light mage or a monk that you see in like the GBA games. And she suffers from extremely low speed, but I find her to be enjoyable to use, and just for the heck of it, we're gonna try and make her usable in this run. I love Micaiah as a character. I think she's really multifaceted and interesting, and I am excited to use her. So here we are. She does some quick damage. This guy's a pervert. Great stuff. Yeah. We're gonna skip most of the story because Radiant Dawn is a novel. I don't feel like reading it all again. And the other character we have here is Edward. He's a Myrmidon, or a sword-locked foot unit. So he doesn't have the biggest movement in the game, and he only uses swords, which in most games is a big problem. But in Radiant Dawn is not as big of a problem because of weapons like the Wind Sword and the Tempest Blade and Alondite, which you get later on, which allow you to attack from 2 range. So normally in Fire Emblem you want like lance units, a lot of axe units, because of hand axes and javelins, which allow units to counterattack at both 1 and 2 range. So usually sword units like Myrmidons are like lower tier or aren't as good, but this game fixes that a little bit. It's still kind of true, but whatever. And I love Edward as a character, so a little characterization he gets, it's kind of whatever, but I shouldn't say as a character. I love him as a unit. I think I like him so much because of nostalgia. I've beaten this game I don't know how many times, but I usually use him just because I enjoy it. Here I'm trying to count range because if you play Radiant Dawn on hard mode, you can't select the enemy and see their movement range like you can in normal or easy mode. So I was just counting and making sure it's what I want to do, and probably checking defenses and stats and what else to see Micaiah can take a hit. And I'm like, oh, I'll just do this. So I'll heal Edward up with an herb, new healing item for only Radiant Dawn, which does 10 HP. And vulneraries do 20 HP, which is like better than you're gonna see from your early game healers in most instances. So that's actually pretty cool. And then we get this useless guy, who is useless. I shouldn't say useless. He does good. He's good chip damage in Dawn Brigade chapters. And he does get a pretty sweet personal bow in Part 3. I was going to try and pronounce it, but I'll embarrass myself, so no thank you. It starts with an L and ends with, I don't know, 4 E's. I have no idea how to pronounce it. But it's just a really strong bow. I think it gives him, like, I forget what it gives him, like +8 skill or luck, or might be a plus attack. No, that's the double bow. I don't remember what it does. Oh, here I'm showing off his skill cancel, which is pretty dope. Cancels an enemy counterattack, but it's not very reliable. That's my problem with skills in in most games actually, except for Fire Emblem Echoes. They tend to be so luck based that it's not reliable to plan around, and I honestly, you really can't count on them ever. So, except for certain skills like Wrath or Resolve, those are always going to activate, but then even Wrath is like just kind of increasing your chance of criticaling, which is also another luck-based thing. Here we Sacrifice, which is a unique skill to Micaiah. She can give some of her health to her allies. It's a plot device more than anything, but it's also just kind of cool and helpful. And here I get a little brave with Edward. I think I overextend him a little bit. That puts him in range of 3 guys, but he's only going to have to take on 2 at a time. I figure it's fine, but gets into a little bit of trouble, as you'll see here in a minute. It's not too bad though. We're able to solve the issue, and he'll come out of it. Or will he? Ooh, build suspense in a Let's Play. Ooh. Yeah, so, now what to talk about? So, as far as other game mechanics that are unique to Radiant Dawn and also Path of Radiance are laguz characters, which we'll meet later. We'll get our first laguz in a few chapters, who are these half-human, half-beast people who can transform and do massive amounts of damage or have like a lot of speed or whatever. Basically doubles their stats, but overall their stats are lower than like the average human character when untransformed. So we'll get into that later. Exciting stuff. I guess I'll talk more about what specifically makes Micaiah a trashy unit. So Micaiah just has really low stats in general, aside from magic and resistance and luck. And you could argue that magic would be one of her most important stats, and it is. But she lacks arguably the most important stat in the game, which is speed. She has I'd have to look it up. I should have been more prepared. Next time I'll be prepared with growths and stuff. But I'm pretty sure she has a growth rate for speed between 30 and 40, like 30 and 45. Which honestly isn't that bad. But the thing is, her base isn't good enough to make up for it. And her other stats don't cap quick enough for bonus experience to make a difference. So in this game, you earn bonus experience for completing chapters quickly and completing other objectives, which I'll be mentioning more once we get to that point where bonus experience is available. But it is an integral part to making your units the best you can for endgame, and honestly, it's pretty important for hard mode to try and reach certain stat milestones, like the magical 34 speed and stuff like that. We'll get into that later as well. But as for right now, I'm showing off. Edward has Wrath, so when his HP is below 30%, he has a 50% like added chance to do a critical hit, which is triple damage in this game. And I'm just doing all the math to get Edward to that 30%, under 30% in this fight with Pugo. Is that his name? With good old Pugo here, Pugo the Bandit. And it comes down to just healing him up a little bit. We sacrifice. Yeah, we sacrifice with Micaiah, and then we put him in range, and then he wraths, and hopefully pull off a crit. Well, let's see what happens. Ooh, suspense. Oh, that's such a sad. I love crits. Crits are satisfying. In this game especially, that noise is like on point, money. It's my favorite crit noise in all of Fire Emblem, I'll say it. Alright guys, well that's going to do it for this episode, or part, whatever. Tune in next time for more Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn.